Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrap Up Show. I'm Wheezy, and we have Charmin. Hi, Charmin.
Hi, Wheezy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? What a day.
I know. What an interesting show. So much good information today.
Yeah, I really loved Chrissy. I mean, I watch her show every once in a while. She has like 50 of them. But I listened to her interview with Elisa recently, and I loved it. I don't know if you heard it, but it was great.
I did. I caught it. It was really good. I enjoyed it. She is funny. I enjoyed the questions that you asked her, too. What good timing for everything today.
Yeah, I mean, I've just always wondered that. It feels like if you're going to be on the right side and you're a public commentator, that it's pretty volatile situation you're putting yourself in, because immediately people will dismiss what you have to say just based on politics, and it becomes side A against side B, and she balances it so well because she's not like a hater. She's not talking shit about the left or anything. She just tends to be more right of the aisle, and she had a great answer for that.
No, she did, and it was a really truthful answer. Like the left, if you even speak to anybody on the right, the left will just turn their back on you.
I agree. Welcome, Jimmy. I wasn't trying to diss you. I hope you don't think that at all. I like both of your personalities.
I just don't want you to. I don't want you to stray in. I don't want you to stray into the territory of baloney, because baloney's been saying for like a month. He's going, any day now, the old Claire is gonna jump out and it's all going to be,
Hey, the hands are back. The hands are coming back.
I will say that, but
not a good sign. That's
no.
When you start doing this,
they're going to try to trigger you, Jimmy.
I know. Listen, there's nothing that could knock me off this Christian game. Can't do it.
Jimmy, this is what I will say. I have not been swayed by anybody's opinions. I have seen what has been going on. I'm just being organic, and what I'm saying is basically, and I don't hate it. I like the edge. I feel like there's a little bit of an edge developing. Maybe comparing it to Claire is a bad idea, since I didn't meet Claire. I never knew Claire.
I think Jimmy the Christian, not to get all frank and talk in the third person like Frank does, but I think Jimmy the Christian is definitely allowed to share opinions. And
absolutely.
When Elisa says over and over again that the sore of a JJ thing is a for lack of a better word, a sore point in the discussion, and then he keeps doing it, I think that sort of borders on the edge of abusive behavior. That's all.
I mean,
Claire, she set a boundary and he's not respecting it, and that's fair to call it out. Jimmy, I want you to have an edge. Like there's this misconception about Christians that we're all just love and light, and I tell people that I'm a lot of love and light with just a little go fuck yourself. I'm real sweet. I'm real kind, but I have an edge to me, and if you get it, you will have earned it.
Yeah.
Danny, I know you wish I would line up my beard, but I love being gross with the neck beard. It's a good buffer to keep fake people away from me. Hey, listen, Kleenex, I'm talking to my biggest fan, Danny from LA. So keep off my beard, Danny, just because I don't want to look like a Backstreet Boy. Thank you.
Were you also calling out the fact that I'm calling out Chris Dick for Kleenex for his?
No. Believe me, that's warranted. Completely warranted. I mean, Kleenex can be a rascal. He could also be very pleasant.
I didn't call her a vapid cunt this other morning, but it was Friday at 1 a.m., so technically Saturday. I called her an sociopath. I called her a fucking sociopath. So I had a new one.
Okay, well. I think neither of them are very flattering, but
it wasn't a diss at all. It was not a diss at all, Jimmy. I know that you kind of took it that way, especially how I framed it.
I get worried that if I'm too animated, somebody's going to say, "Oh, Claire's back." I mean, but listen, I'm animated since I was a little kid.
Something, Grandpa. Follow Grandpa to Grandpa. You take those in the locker and you put them down in your lap.
I talk with my hands all the time. People think I'm gay for doing it.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Grandpa.
I did not take.
Killing me. I was backstage. I got to add this because she's there again.
I love Kay.
The ending was you. I was laughing so hard. I'm sorry if laughing was bad, but that was the best ending of that show I've seen.
It was beautiful
because
she molded the two together. Kay, I love you. You're like one of my favorite parts. You're like one of the best new Kermitarians, and I do think that you deserve Kermitarian of all time. And Elisa being comfortable enough to do that with you, it speaks volumes, because I know she doesn't want to do anything that would hurt your feelings, and the fact that you're a sport about it.
I'm not laughing at you.
No, nobody is, I don't think.
I was extremely entertained. I really enjoyed it.
No, I'm glad
not trying
to I'm glad you share your stories. I know it's hard, and I know people don't listen to you or discount you because of everything that's going on with you. But I'm glad you're here telling us what's going on.
Yeah, it's great, Kay. I love your story all the time. A lot of people don't understand you yet, but as you get to know you're such a great friend, a great person, and we really, really value you here. I can speak for a lot of people.
I'm fascinated by Kay. At first,
I want to make sure you're safe, and I want to know how you're being taken care of. And it concerns me that you could. Some of the stories I hear, I'm concerned for you. I want to know you're safe. I want to know how you're being taken care of. And if you don't follow up with us and let us know, I worry about people.
Well, she was on the porch at the Albert Einstein house, but now she's in a very nice apartment. She's in the Philadelphia. Ooh, she's in Pennsylvania.
Let her speak for herself.
So yeah,
she is
unmute, Kay. Kay, hit your little mute
button. Did somebody help you and relocate you there?
No, so I have really bad credit, so I couldn't find an apartment around me in New Jersey. So the closest guy I could find was here in Philadelphia. And he didn't look at my credit score. He didn't need a credit score. So I found it here. It turned out to be like a really gorgeous place. Like the surrounding is like gorgeous. Like I have to go sit outside sometimes.
We're so happy that you found a place.
Glad you're safe.
I was worried about you the few nights that you were sleeping on your old place, which is Albert Einstein's home.
Well, I only slept there one night.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But I was real worried about you that night, and I know we were all talking to you most of the night just to make sure everything was going smooth. And then within weeks, you're already having your own apartment. You should be very, very proud of yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Kay?
Sure.
I was really listening. I really was. There was a lot of information. 40 places and how much time? 40 institutions and how much time?
4 years.
2018.
4 years.
That's 10 a year.
And do you have access to medical services now that you're stable? Have you started to get connected with doctors or therapists?
I don't really need therapists. Like I am my own therapist. Like I don't need that kind of. I don't mean to sound, uppity or like it's happening. But I'm so psychologically sane. Like it's just like insane. Like I know how to do it myself. Like I'm strong and I'm solid. And so I don't need therapists helping me. So what I need are friends. And so but I have Medicaid and I have the VA. Because I was in the Army, so I get VA services.
Are you making friends at your apartment where you live now? Do you have a support group?
Oh, she just got there.
Yeah, there's nobody around. Like, I mean, I say hi to people at the front all the time. There are always people working at the front, like in the lobby. So that's kind of nice. I always say hi to somebody, but there's not really anybody here my age or that I know. So I don't really have a chance because I work so much.
Is it because you're younger or because you're older? Which is it?
I think it's because I'm younger. So I'm 35.
You said you work so much. Where are you working?
I have a couple of different jobs, but I'm the president of the Illuminati. So like I have so much to do. Forgot. Like it doesn't even make sense. I'm always bombarded with work.
And she's a shaman.
Kleenex, let me say something real quick. We need to point out that Danny is in the chat talking about my appearance and how he wants me to get a fade and shave my beard. It further speaks to my suspicion that he's not a straight guy and he's trying to groom me into somebody that he wants to date, and I will not be having that, Danny, at all. Thank you very much.
Weezy, one quick thing. Weezy, I have to go for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to come back. If Witz wants to do that, we can do that thing that he.
Okay, yeah, he's invited. I'll invite him personally.
Yeah. I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you.
Bye, Jimmy. Oh.
So Kleenex, you don't have a problem with Jimmy, right?
Absolutely not. There was only a time that I went after Kay on my podcast and he got mad. So he didn't like that, that I set her up on my podcast to kind of, gotcha type interview. And other than that, we haven't had a problem. I mean, I like Claire. I like Jimmy. I like all of it. Now I'm doing it. Remember my rule?
Yeah, Danny, you really want me to groom? Get it? Grooming.
I don't have a problem with Jimmy. I want to see him live this Christian lifestyle that he's trying to do. I want to see him keep his faith.
Speaking of Jimmy's, what about Jimmy Rizzo today? What did you think of Jimmy Rizzo?
Not a fan of Jimmy anymore.
Neither am I.
He didn't answer the question. Is he from Ireland or Scotland? Which accent are we listening to? Does anybody know?
To me, it sounds like Glasgow, but he says, "No, I'm from London."
But he has his own way of speaking on top of that accent, and so it's like so confusing the way he speaks, and it's really hard to understand. And he gets mad at you when you can't understand him. So I always hesitate to ask what the fuck he just said.
Well, and I appreciate him being irritated about not getting responses back on social media, but I have the worst social media situations taking place. Like I get notifications that I have dozens of notifications, and then I open up Twitter and there's nothing there. There's something going on with Messenger where I apparently have a page and there are messages going to a page that I can't see. Like I hate technology. And I'm sorry.
We're trained to use it. We all have it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
Jimmy started.
It just doesn't work right.
You have an iPhone?
Jimmy, when he first started calling in, it was interesting because the accent makes it more funny. But now with the hate and the disgust, that's like T-Bob. I mean, enough,
Well, he left the server because he was so upset with Alex Stein's appearance. And he was like, listen, I'm not trying to bag on Kenneth, but Kenneth is in the backstage the whole time saying, I'm here, Miss Lisa, I'm here. You can bring me up whenever you want. I'm here. And it gets very annoying. And that's what Jimmy Rizzo was doing last week when Alex Stein was on. He was every second saying, this guy's boring. I'm here. And like, bro, of course she's not going to bring you up when you're begging backstage. And so then he got his feelings hurt and he left the Discord. Now, listen, I like Jimmy Rizzo because he's a character and I can appreciate. But his last 2 or so appearances, he's really come off horrible on her show.
No, that's what I'm saying. Until the last 2 times, I was fine. So
yeah, something's.
But I kind of did today. Like I remember the old days when we first started. Is I just stayed backstage and she'll pop you up when she doesn't, and she puts you down when you don't. You just kind of stick around and wait. Now I did have a lot of problem getting on today because it was full, but I've never had a problem with being put down.
I've never had a problem.
I've even remember on the old days of being backstage. Of course, we didn't have it was a backstage, and never getting on. I didn't care. I still was watching it live. I don't care if she puts me on or not.
When I first came on the show and I saw her do that, and she would just like kick people off the show, and she would just push and they would go away. I was like, oh, it's great.
I love it. Like Chrissy pointed it out today too. She's like, yeah, you just don't even tell them, and there's no apologies. It's just, but it's perfect for her.
Weezy, when you have somebody like Chrissy or Alex last week, when you have these kind of guests, and you got some guy that nobody's heard of other than this little winner, I would never be offended when she's got a guest like that. Like, don't have anybody on. Just do this for 90 minutes or whatever. Just go with it. But that's the need.
I agree.
That's that thirstiness.
And it's her show.
I'm not a fan of it.
It's her show, and so she can do it any way she wants. And I know that the week that Wheezy and Gio had their big argument, that got center play at the beginning of the show. But the wrestlers left, and I wanted to see who the guests were. So, I appreciate it. It's your show. You do it however you want. Yeah. But all of us that are part of the community will wait.
Right.
To air our dirty laundry after the celebrities with the following get their time, because they have different expectations on shows, right? Like Alan, he expected to be brought up right away.
That was ridiculous.
And I mean,
there's a balance.
Wheezy goes first. Wheezy goes first.
Yeah.
Right. And I realize a lot of the guys just show up so that they can look at Elisa because she's a smoke show. But Wheezy's part of the show, and he gets to go on first, and he gets to have us talk, and then the guests come on and do their thing.
That's just a natural way to weed out the people that don't belong here. Because if you can't sit backstage long enough and your ego is preventing you from waiting, this probably isn't the show for you. Mm-hmm. Because I mean,
but some people that go and do podcasts or jump around, they're usually going to be like, the lead in, and they're going to be on right away. So maybe it's just a habit of these people get on and they know they get on right away. They do their bit, they do their whole thing, and then they step down and walk away. So it could be a part of that, or just people that don't. I think some people that think they're the guest, and if you have just some, person in the community going on and on like Kenneth or whoever, they get offended. Like, hey, why am I here as a guest if she's just going to talk to her fans?
It's an ego thing, man. Like, especially with that Allen guy, he was like, I took this very serious. I offered you a serious role, and you have puppets in front of me, and that guy, and he was talking about me, and she's like, "That's my co-host. Like, what do you expect? I'm not. She's not going to cater to anybody, and her version of catering to you is maybe different than what they're expecting, but that's just because of their ego." Danny is backstage. I hope it's not to talk about my neck hair, Danny, because it's becoming very creepy. Welcome, Dan.
I'm just messing with you.
No, I know.
You're very handsome. You're very handsome the way you are.
So are you.
Danny's very well groomed. He's very trimmed, he's very
Look, I just got a huge Uber Eats order, so I gotta go. Can we just bring up Kenneth? And was that his real account in the chat?
And I think Kenneth KAF in the comments was a fake account.
I love you too. I think it was a fake account. I really do. But his argument wasn't working because he was backstage doing the same exact thing.
Yes, but I don't think he can manage.
We got to teach him a new word, though. Don't call it your clone. Call it your imposter, Kenneth.
Imposter. I was like scientifically trying to figure that out.
Wendy, you can come up if you like.
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy, come on.
We think it was a troll.
Yeah, it was a clone. Everybody was saying it was a troll. It was a clone. I have a feeling I know who it was, but again, he was backstage doing exactly what the imposter was doing. So his argument of like, no, that wasn't me, was kind of a deflection from literally every 3 minutes reminding Elisa that he's backstage. He's willing to come on whenever she wants. And this is what I wanted to talk about with Kenneth. Kenneth this week did something very uncool to Kay. And it was my tipping point.
I saw that.
What happened?
It was my tipping point with Kenneth. I've been a very big Kenneth supporter. I've done everything I can. I'll tell you in just a second what happened. But I've done everything I can to support him, to go to every one of his streams, to defend him. And he brought Kay on this week. And she was just trying to be nice and have a conversation with him. They started talking, and then out of nowhere, he clicks her off and he says, I don't want to talk to her right now. She's crazy. Or I don't want to talk about crazy right now. I've had enough drama this week. I don't want to bring the crazy into it. And it was so dismissive and so rude that I actually tagged everyone in the Discord to mention that I am no longer going to be backing this man's egomaniac behavior. And it's maniacal. And it really is. He gets so caught up in being the center of attention and that he's all important that he starts taking everybody's ideas, from the karaoke to the Jimmy prayer. He wants to be in. He even yesterday tried to get the karaoke that was happening to leave Elisa's server to go to Kenneth's server because he's willing to host it, and he's always just trying to boss people around. And I've had enough of it. I love Kenneth, but I'm not going to let him trample all over people because he has a ego.
Is this a public example of how fame goes to your head and how ego gets blown up? Is that what we're watching?
I don't think it is. I'll just say it real quick because she has a point. I think it is. I don't have a lot of experience with people on the spectrum, but a lot of us remember being in school or knowing somebody at church that was the really happy, always friendly person on the spectrum, always so happy and joyful. Well, there's lots of different levels. So I think there's also the ornery and the entitlement type. It's like there is with any normal person. There's all these different character that can be over exaggerated or over displayed for us to see on somebody on the spectrum. So I don't really try to judge it by him being entitled or being a bastard or whatever. It's just that level of where he's at, how he relates to the world around him.
How do we explain it to him so that we help him process it? Because if we think he's on the spectrum and we think maybe this is an overreaction and we're getting to see it, and it's something that all of us are learning as on the fly, right? We're experiencing it together. Right. We're seeing it. We're identifying it. How do we help him manage all these new feelings and new emotions? Because we got a lot of people in this community who want to become successful. This is something we could see again. We want to make sure we've all managed our egos and we're not overinflated with somebody. How do we help him become better?
Patience.
He won't listen. That's the problem. We've been trying to give him advice over and over again. And the one thing that Kenneth is really good at is apologizing, but not changing his behavior. 13 seconds later, he'll do the same thing that he just apologized for. but I don't think it's as innocent as most people think. I think that he has gotten a little bit of an inflated ego. When we were calling him King Kenneth and stuff like that, it did go to his head, and he's doing things out of spite.
You could be right. Yesterday, I'm trying to offer him a way out, Weezy.
Out of spite.
Yesterday, something very telling happened. Everybody was doing the karaoke. People over and over and over asked him to mute his mic, which everyone else was doing while somebody else was singing. He refused to do it. Then he argued it when we made him do it, and then he said stuff like, sheesh, I'll do it, fine, sheesh. And it's like, bro, it's not that we're trying to get you to do anything different than everybody else is doing. We're not singling you out. You're the only one not following the rules, and you're being stubborn about it. Everybody gives him a pass because, okay, he might have some issues or whatever, but that's just a green light for him to get away with it. And I'm starting to see that he's getting away with things because of people treating him differently. I feel like Kenneth should be treated the same as we treat everybody else.
Yeah. And there's this person, Brutally Lauren, saying he knows what he's doing. So
right, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Put his ass in check.
So can I say, so I'm like really into words and definitions. Like I worship them, and so I mean technically when he said that I'm not dealing with crazy right now. So I'll kind of defend Kenneth here because I know he claims to be mentally like whatever but I think he just kind of like understood the vibration of what crazy is. Because I think it was maybe he could have been right because like technically the first definition on dictionary and this is used the Collins dictionary is mentally deranged, demented, insane, which is not true. I'm not mentally deranged. The second definition is informal, unpredictable, non-conforming, or odd. The third definition is unusual, bizarre, or singular. And yes, I am unpredictable. I'm odd, and maybe he just really didn't feel like dealing with it. And I understand that.
It didn't give him a right to be so dismissive and rude to you. Yeah. It was dismissive and rude when everybody.
I would have just told me directly, I don't deal with that shit right now. And then I would have had a conversation with him about it. So like, yeah, I'm the only thing I'm really upset about is him kicking me off because I didn't know what happened because all of a sudden I was talking and then nobody could hear me. So I didn't know. I didn't even know what was kicked off. So that's the only thing that. And we all know he's not confidential. Like he gets off every time somebody says something about it, he runs away. So I mean,
exactly, he did that earlier. But Kay, it's not. If it was just anybody else that we were treating like that it would be different. But we have coddled this man to the point of giving him too much comfort and being rude.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
You have a problem with people being coddled. Does that stem from something that you had to deal with in your real life or personal?
No, it's just we shouldn't coddle Kenneth. We should not give him free passes to have bad behavior just because we might think of him a certain way. I don't think anybody should ever be coddled for any reason, but coddling him is just a detriment to him because it's reinforcing his bad behavior. And I have been the biggest Kenneth fan. I've gone to every one of his streams in the past. I've always been trying to be very, very helpful. And what he's been doing, he's been slapping us in the face with this Elisa thing. And everybody keeps asking him, hey, at least, listen, it doesn't matter what Elisa thinks at this point about you calling her. We won't talk about that. But can you stop tagging every 7 minutes? Because he will ignore all of his friends.
Yeah, he ignores all of us. Can we really say that maybe he's on that loop and he can't get off of it? And we just can't understand that once he's on that loop, he's going to be on it. And we can all say, stop, but he's just, like on a mission.
And I think we've seen this before with other behaviors on people that we coddled with their bad behavior and we watched it spiral out of control. So like if we can figure out a way to definitely, divert this before anything gets any worse than it already is, that's a benefit to everybody.
I agree. And he's had a rough week. I mean, he had to leave for a while. People were calling his mom and he didn't come back more humble. He came back with a vengeance. And this is what's funny to me. Like I said, I've been a really good friend to Kenneth. He came back into the community. I said, welcome back, Kenneth. He ignored me. Hi, Kenneth. He ignored me. How you doing, Kenneth? He ignored me. As soon as Elisa tagged me for something, he then paid attention to me just to get Elisa's attention.
Okay.
And it's
so
like,
he's being a shit.
That's not cool.
He's just straight up being a shit.
Right.
He's taking a piss on everybody. So yeah, I guess Hello, Sloan.
Hey guys,
how are you?
Can you hear me?
Your mic is breaking up a little bit.
Let me go to mic check.
Yeah, let me see if I can change that.
Is that also Prince?
That's Prince.
An excellent guitar player, I understand.
Can you speak to that? Because I'm hearing some rumors, Prince, that you admitted that you don't play guitar. I can't hear you now. Damn it.
Yeah, he's having some issues.
I
would imagine a guitar player would know how to work sound, but I'm sorry. Do you actually play the guitar, Prince Sloan?
Can you hear me now? I'm addressing as we speak.
Hey,
yeah, we can. It's a little jumbled, but just please answer this. Did you lie to us about playing guitar, and was that like a YouTube video or something that you
Did you pull a Kleenex and tell a lie?
No, I never personally said I lied. That's what was told to you by Gidget and Tony. I never confirmed it. I just went with it. They called me liars, but I never really said, I never said that. I never said that. That was told to everyone else.
You should be prepared with that guitar and show everybody you are a serious musician, or you're a musician in training. But I was hearing all these rumors about you that you're like Prince level. You know, I know a lot about Prince.
What he played for me was incredible.
He could play 19 instruments. Did you know that?
But Kleenex, I've played guitar since the 90s. Since the 90s, I've played guitar, right? I'm not great, but I'm very proficient. When I heard him play...
I want to see his fingers. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Kleenex, let me finish, please. Just let me finish.
I want to see calluses on the fingertips.
When I heard him play, I thought, oh my God, this guy's a virtuoso. I was so impressed with him playing. Now I'm wondering, just grab your guitar and play for us, Prince. If you can shred, we would love to hear it.
Did he play on camera or did he play off camera?
It was in VC and I heard it. Right. And so I'm just wondering, did you play a YouTube for me that one time? Were you really playing?
Daniel saying Prince admitted he faked playing.
I was really playing. The other times, I was just covering other stuff, but I never recorded anything from YouTube. No. But I do covers though.
Man, your audio is so bad. Can you maybe just reload and see if it works?
Maybe he's another Jeff Beck. I don't know.
I don't know what this might be breaking up. It happens
are you
to Peter too.
Are you a personal friend of Kenneth? Do you know him in the real world?
Yes.
And how long have you known him?
I met him at camp.
Oh.
Is that recent or I don't understand what camp means.
Last year,
at a camp. He's part of the last year. That explains everything. I didn't know he was living in like the group home thing.
I don't understand.
You're in a group home, aren't you? Sloan, you're in a group home.
No. He's on a group home.
He's not?
What do you mean by camp?
He went to it. He's told me.
It's a place where like I don't want to put my business out there, and I don't want to put his business out there. But usually, if you mind, I don't want to put
straight up. Okay, you're not in the spectrum, so straight question.
Kleenex, let me answer for him.
For the disabled, is this a disability?
It's
or
for
everybody's allowed to go to
It's for mentally challenged.
Disabled.
Yes.
It's not prison. It wasn't jail. It's a facility for mental health issues.
It's really just a camp that you go to, and it's like a program where people go for a limited amount of time and then they go home. It's more of a get together for like-minded people. And that's where him and somebody else, Green Ranger, had met Kenneth in real life. Yeah. Prince, I hate to do this to you, but I need you to reload so that we can maybe get your microphone fixed because it's almost unlistenable. Thank you.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, Granny.
Hi.
He's mentally challenged. He doesn't play guitar.
We're all mentally challenged here.
Well, I'm bipolar.
I know, right?
Let Granny speak, please.
Kay, and I may have misunderstood. Did you say you were in the military?
Yeah, the what?
Did you say you were in the military?
Yeah, I was in the United States Army.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, it makes it a little awkward when people say that because I feel like I should be the one thanking everybody because like I get so much now because like the only reason I'm living right now I get $3,300 a month like to just like live forever for the rest of my life. So, like I don't feel like I did that much for anybody. I feel like it did everything for me. Like because I wouldn't be the president of the Illuminati if I hadn't had that experience.
But honey, I say that sincerely because I appreciate our military. My husband's retired military, and my ex-husband was. And I like to acknowledge people that have been in the military, because you allow me to be able to do what I do and protecting us.
Well, you do.
And I just want to say thank you. I don't do nothing anymore. I'm retired. I used to work for a bank.
Yeah, Kay was an expert in Korean language and code breaking. She was a fucking genius.
Well, I was a cryptologic linguist, so I didn't really break codes, like, because I'm not really interested in code breaking. So what I did was, so the way it works, so every has an English letter associated with it. So when we received information, like, so it would be a bunch of English letters. It'd be like KDF, and then I'd have to translate that in my head to Korean. So I wouldn't actually read Korean. I'd have to read English and then translate in my head to Korean for Korean, and then read it naturally. So that's what a cryptologic linguist was. Or is.
Leah is asking if she can get an application to get into the Illuminati. Kay, is it an application process that she could go in order to get into the Illuminati? Or
I mean, it's a complicated process. Like, at this point, like, if you want to be in the Illuminati and you're willing to do the work, like, you're in. I mean, that's the way it works. So I'm tired of there's like a fake Illuminati out there.
Kleenex, she's the president of the Illuminati, so she knows the best.
Well, they are the Rothschilds, so we know they're Jewish.
I mean, yeah, I used the last name Rothschild, like, with my account.
Are you sure you weren't a Mason when you got out of the Army and you got that confused being in the Mason temple?
I'm actually from a line of Masons. Like, my family, my mother's side of the family. Like, you know, my mother's godfather is Michael Collins, the astronaut who went to the moon. And he was best friends. My grandfather was best friends with Michael Collins. So, like, I remember, like, my family was like very they were Masons.
Like, was your grandfather a Mason? Your dad? How does that work?
I'm not really sure. Well, my father, not my father. My father's not involved in all. My dad's father was in the American Embassy, and he worked in Mexico, so he wasn't involved in that kind of stuff. But my grandfather was best friends with Michael Collins, and so I'm not really sure how the line works. I could probably ask my aunt, because but yeah, they were Masons. So I mean, if you're in the family, like, that's how you're never not in the family. Does that make sense? Like, I can never not be a Mason, because I mean, it's my line, it's my bloodline.
Well, first of all, let me explain. My grandfather was a Mason. Men are Masons. Women join their fraternity. It's called
Morning Star, something.
Morning Star. There you go. That's
something.
It, Morning Star. Yeah. So the division, they split it up. Morning Star is for females. The Masons is for men. Yeah.
Huh.
So you could only be a Morning Star, okay? You couldn't be a Mason.
No, I'm a Mason. Like, it's like, dude, I've been. You know how many times I've been a man in past lives?
Order
like,
of the Eastern
Star. Because you're a man. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
Like,
she's been a man more than women.
She's been a man more than a woman.
I've only been a woman in maybe like 10 of my lives.
Oh, so were you a Mason as Albert Einstein?
No.
Oh.
I don't think.
When I was Albert Einstein, I was still the president of the Illuminati. When I was Ada Lovelace, I was the president of the Illuminati. Ada Lovelace was the first life where I was the president of the Illuminati.
Lifetime, you were the president of the
No, she's still the president.
She's right now the president of the Illuminati.
But don't they call? Do I understand my conspiracy world wrong? Don't they call you the high priest, not the president, but they call that order of the high priest?
I don't want to. I think I'll talk about that right now.
Okay, well, let's talk about some more of the show.
Yeah. Let's talk about the show.
Granny.
Can I just real quick? I did. Okay, I did, and I enjoyed it.
All right. So one thing I want to talk about is Fred Rubino, because I've never even heard of the guy, and Kleenex has heard of him and was a fan like 10 years ago. I felt like his interview was a little short, but that he should come back because he was such a likable character.
Mm-hmm. Anybody that's a regular, go watch his YouTube. I haven't watched him probably in 12, 13 years, so I didn't realize it was him because, 12 years older than he was. He's really good. When I saw him, he was doing more about growing up in Brooklyn, the Italian relatives, and he wasn't really conservative or talking about politics, so I'd like to go see him again. Big fan of Christy.
TikTok.
I'm a big fan of Anthony Camoni. I can't say the guy's name.
Cumia.
So, yeah, I'm very aware of her. I think she was great. So it was a very good show with both guests. I agree with Weezy. I'd like to definitely see him come back and have more.
Well, with Fred, I'm interested in the fact that he's been able to somewhat master the TikTok, because that's how he's gained a lot of notoriety as of recently, from what I hear. And I've always thought TikTok is more of a young person's game. I'm too old for it.
Do TikTok. Hey, there's help for me yet.
Yeah, because it seems confusing to me. I have a TikTok, but I've only put up like little stupid clips of like pretty much Kermit and Friends stuff and Wendy, because I love you, Wendy. I hope you come up. But yeah, it's to me, it seems like I'm the oldest man in the world when it comes to TikTok, because I go on there and it's all like 20 somethings, and I'm like, it
you
feels
might
like
have
I'm
more
at the
fun
wrong
with
party.
Instagram. Instagram's got a little bit of everything on it. Maybe you should do live Instagram instead.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the same kind of stuff.
I have an Instagram, but it's just like my personal one. I post pictures of my cat and my guitars, and that's about it. Maybe some flowers here and there. So, but the TikTok thing, it was kind of refreshing to hear that he has such a big following on there, which I haven't looked or anything, but it seems like, oh, cool. Like maybe you can get somewhere with it. And that's what he was talking, or Chrissy was talking about too, is just like, hey, even if you have one joke, put it on TikTok and see what happens with that. And I never thought of it that way. I always thought of it like either a conspiracy minded or like young people
dancing,
doing stupid shit. Yeah.
Or drinking cinnamon.
I did follow him so that I could watch his TikTok, because I watch TikTok, but I would never be brave enough to do it. But
I
got
a question.
I got a real quick question. The guests were great. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
No, so, I mean, because like I've been thinking about TikTok because I'm trying to get into social media lately. But like, well, I'm trying to think. Like, I could talk for like 17,000 hours in a row. Like, how do I do 30-second clip?
Yeah, I get
so
it. I get that.
How do I get? I mean, if I can do this on TikTok, then I would be an accomplished person, because like to get myself down to 30 seconds.
I'm your new number one fan.
Kay, I love you.
Oh boy,
I love.
I enjoy you so much.
Tramp?
I'm doing good, Kleenex. How are you?
Real quick, I just got a real quick question. The show was great. The guests were great. I'm very aware of both of them, even without being a fan of KAF. But one question that I caught toward the end was, she started the show very depressed, and then she cheered up. So is there any more information that I missed at the beginning of the show where there's a reason why she was depressed? Is that up for question? Or is that no, Elisa?
Elisa's had a tough week, and I think a lot of it has to do with Captain kind of betraying her. He was hanging out with a big boobied princess right before he went to her house, and then afterwards he's been saying like kind of shitty things about her to his audience. And I think, listen, I don't hate Captain or anything, but I think he's such a narcissist that he just says things to serve him in the moment for attention, and that's always going to bite him in the ass. Like, I know I think Leaf might be mad at me because of what I said about him today, but I want Leaf to know I love Leaf so much, and I would never ever even argue with him.
But I've always respected him. You know,
Kleenex, let me finish. You keep talking over me.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez,
that's a bad habit.
But what I will say is that I didn't like some of the aspects of what he said, but it's not for me to like. He does that newsletter exactly how she asks him to, because she says always be honest, wear your heart on your sleeve. That's what Leaf is doing. So I don't want him to think that I'm like punishing him for doing what everybody really wants him to do. I just disagree with the pretty much one thing, and it's the fact that he was kind of and I get it because she was picking on him, but he was kind of picking on her even after she let him know that part bugged her. And so I felt weird after saying it because I'm so pro Leaf, but I just want him to understand that. Sorry, Kleenex, go ahead.
Well, he just said something. He just said something right now about me concerning me. I'm not being salty. What I was trying to say real quick, and that I don't want to take up too much time, is he's always disciplined me when I acted out or wrote something or tweeted something. And I've been guilty of it more times than anybody can remember. But for him to make the comment about your poor sore pussy, and then, to be being lectured, I don't want Leaf. Don't ever lecture me again about anything I do in this community, because that was so goddamn out of bounds for a guy that kind of has all these. Let's get maybe you don't know the history. The guy's always kind of been like, let's all play nice, let's be respectable, let's be good Christian people, and that was really off color and very unnecessary. Don't ever lecture me again.
When it comes to Weezy, though, I really respect his honesty. And if anything, Leaf should respect it as well.
He does. He just said something that he wasn't upset with me, which is very happy. Makes me very happy.
Yeah. That's the one thing about you. I first time I met you, I could tell you're a very honest person. You're very upfront, and people know where they stand with you. And I think that's very important,
Well,
as
thank you.
people and stuff. So I appreciate that about you, really do.
Well, thank you, Granny. I think that it's hard to be honest with everybody all the time, because sometimes you paint yourself in a corner, and it's happened with me and Elisa. Even when we fought, I'm too stubborn for my own good, which is not necessarily a bad or a good quality, but I stick to my guns. Like what I think is right, and it might be wrong, but what I think is right is what I try to stand up for. And everybody always makes mistakes, so I'm not trying to be special. But I think if everybody stuck to their own little constitution and was less fair weather, that the more we could get further and further without the fakeness, you know what I mean? Which I see a lot of.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to come up and say what I did to Kay, and I love her. I've enjoyed her so much. And Kenneth, I went to his channel once, and his cockiness is not comfortable because of the fact that I think his head swelled up when he got the Cormitarian. I'm saying that wrong. I apologize.
Cormitarian.
Yeah, Kermitarian. And that was nothing towards you, Super Tramp. I promise. I'm bad at trying to say something. Can I blame it on the senior citizen? But
no.
But he needs to slow his jets. He needs to slow down, and he needs to think.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Miss Wendy.
I agree with you, Granny.
Pug.
Welcome, Meat Truck Mike. The best co-host of all time is here right now. Meat Truck Mike.
Handlers.
Hi, Meat Truck.
But with Kenneth, it's disappointing because he thinks that he is in control of everything. And he takes it. When you tell him to stop, he goes harder, and he needs to stop. And one of the things, Kenneth, you need to do, don't disrespect our military. I feel so strongly about this, and anyone that knows me knows I do. Don't disrespect it, and don't disrespect Miss K.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I understand. I've made the connection now, Granny. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Meat Truck,
I understand now.
But that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to go ahead and go down, and thank you for allowing me to come up. Hi,
Granny, you're always welcome.
Hi, Miss Wendy. I love you.
Hi,
all right,
Granny.
Sherman, love you too. Super
Love you,
Tramp.
Granny.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, Granny. You're always welcome, of course. Meat Truck, how you doing, buddy? He might be away from the keyboard.
Take that as he's doing good.
Buddy. I'm the dog. Woof, woof.
Woof, woof.
How are you doing, Pug?
Woof, woof. I'm Pug.
Okay, Pug.
What did you think about the show today, Pug?
Nice meeting you. Oh, there's my sexy super.
Hey, baby.
Did you like the show today, Pug? I know that you called in.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
That's it? Just yes? Tell us what you thought.
Fuck it. I give up.
Hi, Wendy.
He tried long enough.
Hi, Wendy. You're so funny. I can't believe you're on the show with great connection. Oh, I think she was tricked until you came on camera. But you have a great connection today. I'm so appreciative of that. Usually when you're on this show, your connection is atrocious. I liked your call today, Wendy, and I do agree.
Yes, Weasley, I called into the show because I would try and explain something to Kenneth.
Right. Do you think that he understood what you were saying? Because he immediately dismissed your comments and said that it wasn't him in the chat, but he was also saying the same stuff backstage, basically. What do you think? You think you got to him?
Hold on, Weasley. Let me turn my volume up some.
Weasley.
I can't
No
hear
problem.
a thing.
I'm going to start calling you Weasley now.
A couple people do just because of that.
Okay, now what were you saying, Weasley?
Well, I'm wondering if you think you got through to Kenneth with your comments. Do you think that he listened to you, and do you think that he'll take those into consideration?
Yeah.
Good. That's progress then, right?
Yes, gonna try and work with Kenneth.
Good. I think that's important because I know Kenneth had bothered you at one point, and you weren't even allowing him on the show for a while. Does that mean that he's welcomed back on your show?
Yes.
She's good with the yes. She's good with
and
the
also, there's one thing I totally miss. I totally miss Mike Trucker.
Meat Truck Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's away from his keyboard.
No, I'm here.
I miss his cute voice.
Yeah, he does have a cute voice.
Have you seen him, Wendy? He's very handsome too, but he's very shy.
He's a hot stud.
I've seen him one time.
No.
You know who he's friends with?
See him again.
He's friends with your good friend Eric.
Hey, Key. What's up, Key?
Hey. How nice was it to
K
hear
Jobs
from Eric today?
On your show, you always say K Jobs. You're like, hey, K Jobs.
Yeah, Sherman, Eric Riggs. Yeah, go ahead.
I love her.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, I came on just to address something that I saw this week on Twitter, and people were being crucial towards Kleenex, like saying he lost it and stuff like that. And that's something I strongly disagree with. I watched Kleenex for years. This man has provided hours of content. I definitely disagree with him. I agree. I definitely disagree with him more than I agree with him. And me and him are not friends at all. We've chatted in passing, and our DMs are very minimal with each other. But if there was anybody who belonged in the Kermit and Friends Hall of Fame, I believe it would be Kleenex. He's been at this for so long, and he's provided so much fucking content. He should be allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants at this point.
I mean, Kleenex, you remind me of the Grinch, the way you're looking right now.
Oh, boy.
Well, because I have put a lot of time and hours in, but I thought it was really just me just being a complete motherfucking asshole. So,
and
I don't know. I don't have no answer to that.
And you being an asshole is content. But if there was, the question I want Weezy to take on is, if there was a Kermit and Friends Hall of Fame, who do you think the top 3 people inducted would be?
Wow.
Can I ask Wendy a question? Hey, Wendy, did you know that the human head weighs 11 pounds?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, it does.
Well, I'm not quite as qualified as some of these other people on here because I've been around like the least amount of time. But I would definitely put Kleenex in the top 3.
Gonzo. Definitely Gonzo.
Ham hands.
And Kleenex. I mean, you'd have to be in the top 3.
Up to date. I don't know. Up to date. I'm trying to think. Who really puts in a lot? I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Corey. Been around a long time.
The other night, I'm sorry, I accidentally texted you by mistake.
That's okay. I was just nervous when you called. Like, why is Wendy calling? Are you okay? Is something wrong?
Forza's got some
we
good.
We Leaf. All right. We're saying like somebody outside of the host. We know EJ's numero uno. We're just saying, people that participated throughout the years. I would have said Brian from New Jersey at one time, but he's not really with us anymore.
I think Forza nailed it. Kleenex, Gonzo, and Eric. I mean, I'm new, so I don't know the whole history. But Eric, I mean, like Charmin was just saying, he called in today. That was great. He has provided such great content. Kleenex, you're a nightmare at times, which is so great. And you're pleasant at times, which is so great too. So, I mean, I don't think you could lose. I mean, I know she's kicked you out and banned you.
Hey, I'm bipolar with a capital B and a capital P.
Are you bipolar 1 or bipolar 2?
I don't know.
There's nothing saying
capital
bipolar.
B, capital P.
You know what bipolar is? The only type of bipolar
what's a polar?
is like,
what's a
bipolar? Total opposites.
It means that
you
you have
from one to the other like that.
And you have highs,
like really
you have
nice to you, and
lows.
all of a sudden they freak out and they're like really mean to you. Like that's bipolar. Like that is the only type of bipolar there is.
Leah's got a good point. T-Bob.
Leah's got a good point. I'd say because this version 2.0 is much longer than the original show, I'd have to say Charmin for the new season.
I believe
great.
Type 1 is what I believe I have, and I think that's where you have the extreme highs associated with the extreme lows, and you go into like where you're up for like days on end and you start hallucinating.
Right. Most people don't know that bipolar 1 is marked by one event of staying awake for 3 days straight. If you've done that one time, you qualify as bipolar 1.
Wow.
I have not ever done that.
I've made it 2 days max. There's no way I can.
I slept for like 4 days at a time because I had so much work to do. So I mean that has nothing to do with bipolar. That's because I have a lot of work to do and I can't.
Super. Was that 7 days?
Times it was like Charmin.
Drug induced.
Well, what'd you ask, Wendy?
It looked like Super Trip has his hand up of how many times he did it.
He said 7 days, and I'm wondering if that was drug induced, but he said
no, it wasn't. I was hallucinating very, very. My mom caught wind of it. I called her on the phone apparently and was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, the kid is fucked."
How old were you?
I was in my 30s.
Wow. And you just couldn't fall asleep?
Just couldn't. My head was just going nuts, just racing. I was cleaning the house. I was mowing the lawn at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness! Like manic behavior.
Kid you not? Yeah.
I have stayed up for about 2 nights and days, and it was actually when I was doing festivals. I would do the visuals at nighttime, and then during the daytime, you would usually sleep. But it just became this thing where it's like, and it was no drugs or anything. It was like I stayed up all night and then I wasn't tired the next morning. And so I did that 2 nights in a row. Coffee.
No coffee? Okay.
But I got so, like, my hallucinations were absolutely real, especially hearing. I was thinking that I was hearing things that weren't happening. And that's when I made myself go to sleep. I had to just try to sleep and it worked. But I was having these auditory hallucinations and it was actually quite scary.
Oh, it sounds really scary. I haven't experienced any of that, so that's scary.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
I'm in the car. I'm in the car on the way to. I'm in the car on the way to my mom's friend's house.
Oh, cool, Justin.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Did you watch the show today?
I missed the whole show. Actually, I missed the whole show. I'm sorry.
I can't believe it.
Weezy, I know. I was busy with my aunt today. I just got done eating at the Cheesecake Factory, so... yeah, we just got done.
You should watch it, Justin. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ken.
I should. I don't care. I feel bad.
You can catch up on it.
Missy Meyer was really good. I actually enjoyed her. Like, I didn't enjoy
Justin,
the guy that was last week.
Can I ask you a question, Justin?
Go ahead, Wendy.
Do you drive? Do you have a driver license?
No, my mom.
No, he
my
doesn't
mom
drive.
drives, darling. My mom
I hope not.
Oh, okay.
Shut up, Chris.
Kenneth,
You
welcome
know I
to
love
the
you,
show.
Justin. You know I love you, Justin. Oh,
hey, everybody.
Hey, Kenneth.
Speak of the Prince of Kindness.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hey, Miss Wendy. Weezy, I have a statement I want to make about the show today.
Okay,
if I may.
Please.
May I make my statement, please?
Of course. Yeah.
The me that was on the show today was not the real me.
Okay.
It was a clone.
I believe you, Kenneth. But your behavior backstage was very similar to the clone's behavior, where you were demanding a lot of attention from Elisa while she's doing her show, and really telling her and reminding her every.
That was a clone?
That was
Kenneth,
evil,
because it looked
Kenneth,
like it went straight to
I am
the
being
twin.
dead serious, Miss
Doppelganger,
Wendy.
evil Kenneth.
I'm being dead serious, Miss Wendy, because they cloned Kelly, and I believe they cloned Miss Florida Sun as well.
Now I believe that, but Kenneth, will you speak on something for me?
Hey, is this Leah or Lee?
It's Leah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he left.
Contact me on Discord.
Well, Kenneth, Can I ask you, when I click on your name, why does it go straight to your channel if it wasn't you in the chat this afternoon?
He left, Wendy, because he knew I was going to ask him a tough question. And that question, if you're listening, Kenneth, is why were you doing the same exact thing your clone was doing? Because backstage, every 3 minutes, you were reminding Elisa that you were there. And this is the behavior that person was pointing out. So, I mean, listen, I love you, Kenneth, but at some point we have to stop reinforcing the bad behavior. And that's what I've decided to do. It's tough love. It's called tough love.
Sexy bitch, you.
Justin, in front of your mom, you're saying that? I am shocked.
I'm just saying, when I go click his name in the YouTube chat, it goes straight to his channel, so it cannot be a thing, Kenneth, because I know his channel, Kenneth.
Yeah,
it goes straight to his channel.
That's damning evidence, isn't it, Wendy?
Oh boy, Wendy's got him.
What's up, Phil?
Wendy would know.
Nailed it.
I would have never caught on to that. I'd have missed that completely.
Sherman, guess where I'm going in September? I'm so excited I can't stand
it.
I know where.
When I click his name in the KFC chat, it goes straight to his channel. So it cannot be Kenneth.
We get that, Wendy.
It's okay,
Wendy.
So, Wendy, I want to ask you real quick before I get shut off and turned down and thrown out like the week's garbage. How you been, Wendy? I haven't seen your show for a long time. How you been?
Doing good.
Wonderful.
I've been doing good. Just been chilling.
Good.
Now, I have a question for everybody since we are wrapping the show up. We're at an hour, and I never go over an hour. So first I want to say thank you guys so much for coming up here, and thank you to everyone watching. Now, my question is, which one of you wants to sing a song? Supertramp got everybody, including a lot of girls, have a crush on him after yesterday. His karaoke performances were amazing. Now both boys and girls have crushes on Supertramp after yesterday's performances. So I would guess that he would want to sing, but I don't want to pressure him.
I'm beating him off with a stick, Wheezy.
Isn't that what you want to do to the boys?
Are you beating any guys off, though? I want to know, are you beating any men off?
This is a good suggestion.
A few. Justin's all over
Well,
me.
I only sing when I'm behind the drums and good singers and in front, and I kind of harmonize behind. So I'm definitely not going to sing.
I want
it. Okay.
So
have we ever had Charmin sing? I got a question. Has Charmin ever sang?
Charmin hasn't ever sang.
Charmin's eyes just did that roll. So
yeah, Charmin hasn't ever sang. I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
Kay, you'll sing a song?
Kay, you'll sing a song?
Oh, well then. Okay, well, I would ask everybody to mute themselves so that Kay can sing. I'm going to put her up, and then we're going to close the show. So again, thank you guys so much for coming up here. You've all been wonderful. And thank you to everyone that watched as well.
Bye.
Sorry, I interrupt you again.
You're fine.
Does that to me all the time. I hate that shit.
Oh no, I'm big. I'm really big now. So I'll just preface this with that. I used to have a really pretty voice, and then when I got into I have my fentanyl accident, then they set the tubes down my throat, so I couldn't. So I haven't been able to sing since I lost my voice. So I'm sounding really ugly and horrible. So I apologize, but okay. All right. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Okay, that's all I know. I once was something, and now I'm free.